Hello everybody, this is Just Smash here, and today I'm going to be doing a review of each and every GameCube game that I own. Why am I doing this? I'm bored, so this is my whole list here, all of them, and I used to own more games, but I've sold some off. I used to have Super Smash Bros. Melee, and I used to have Sonic Adventure DX and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Those three, I sold them off. So I have 21 right here. This one right here, it's got no disc. It's the collector's edition of Zelda. It's got Wind Waker demo, and it has the complete Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 games, along with the complete Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask games. I used to have a case for it, but I don't know where it went. Anyways, if you ever have a GameCube, this is a must-own disc. I mean, this has like everything you'd need, basically. This is like a 10 out of 10 game for me, because quite simply, it's the complete experience. It's one of the best disc collections you could ever get. Just this little disc here. Something you should buy for the GameCube. So, first review here, gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Okay, this is Teen Titans for the GameCube, based off of the Teen Titans show from Cartoon Network or whatever. A lot of these games on here are all really old. Like, I had them at least 6 or 7 years ago, most of them. But this is based off of the show, and it's a beat-em-up game, fighting, combat. You play as 5 of the Teen Titans at the same time. It's got the spirit of the show, and graphics look really nice. And for a game based off of a show like this, it's actually pretty good. I'm going to give it a score of 8.5 out of 10. Okay, third review, Simpsons Hit and Run. This is an open world game. It's based off of the Simpsons show. It's a parody of Grand Theft Auto 3 is basically what it's supposed to be. Even though it's not as good, it captures the spirit of the show. It's got a big open world. Nice looking graphics for this, and it's the best Simpsons game that there is. And not much bad to say about it, even though sometimes the AI is kind of weird in it. But overall, this is a fun game. It gets an 8.5 out of 10 for me. Starfox Adventures. This is a GameCube exclusive. It's like one of the first, I think it's the first Star Fox game where you're on foot instead of in an R-Wing, which is the plane. And it plays a lot like Zelda, and the story is really nice, and the adventure here is really good. And I also had to pay attention to the really good voice acting in the nice weapon combat. You get more moves as you go. It's a lot like Zelda, but definitely something that I think anybody would like. It gets a 9 out of 10 for me. Mario Power Tennis. This is like one of the best sports games that Mario has ever had. It's really addicting, and there's like so much content in it that it's really hard to get bored at. You get to play as like at least 20 characters from Mario, and that's a heck of a lot for a GameCube. Really nice graphics. Overall, not much bad to say about it. You have power shots where each character has a different tennis move. It's really awesome. It gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Okay, Warioworld. This one is based off of Wario, of course, and I guess this is like the first Wario game that's really an adventure that's 3D. But anyways, it's a beat 'em up just like the other Teen Titans one, but except you're only Wario. The main issue I had with this one is that it's kind of short, and that's the only problem I have with it. It's just you go around fighting, and there's a lot of bosses, and you can fight the bosses more than once. It's actually fun enough that you can do it more than once, and overall that kind of makes it a little bit longer, but overall it's a very short game. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Okay, Pokemon Colosseum. Now, I remember Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Stadium 2 for the N64, and I thought they were good, but they kind of lacked a story and the ability to like go on an adventure. You would just rent the Pokemon in it. But Pokemon Colosseum really feels like an adventure, and that's something that was new for a console Pokemon game. Not only does it have a lot of guys, you're limited to about 50 Pokemon you can catch in the game. You start out with 2 Pokemon there. I think they're pronounced Espeon and Umbreon. But anyways, it's got a lot of legendaries, and it's what made it even more fun was the ability to link into the Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire and all those on the Game Boy Advance. Overall, this is a fun adventure game. I'll give it a 10 out of 10 just because it's got a real long story, very fun. Okay, this is Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's based off the Nickelodeon show, and it actually has a nice story. It's got all the same voice actors as the show as well. Nice voice acting. It's sort of an adventure game. You level up in it, so you get stronger as you go. I kind of found the combat sort of not having a lot of variety, and overall it's kind of fun, but not the best. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Not much to say about it. It's a long game, but kind of not as good as you would hope it to be. Okay, Shark Tale. Now this is probably not very good at all, really. The problem with this game is that it's like feels like just a bunch of unnecessary mini games. Like you have this one level you start out with where you're trying to be the fish and you're avoiding the shark, and it's kind of really weird. It just feels like a bunch of mini games each level. Like there's one where you're trying to race a guy and the controls are just terrible. And then there's just a whole bunch of these levels that feel like Dance Dance Revolution, where you have to mash the buttons to do the dancing, and it's very unresponsive doing that. So overall, this is not a very good game, Shark Tale is. So from me, it gets like a 4 out of 10. Not very good. Okay, Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, Jet Fusion. Okay, so this one I have really enjoyed. And a lot of people say it's short, but that's not really the case. Because usually it's actually got really nice voice acting. The graphics aren't very special. In a lot of the places in the game feel empty sometimes. But overall, you get a whole bunch of gadgets. They kind of like power-ups almost some of the time when you collect a whole bunch of items. It's got the spirit of the show, and it's a fun game. For my score, I'd have to give it an 8 out of 10. Okay, Shadow the Hedgehog. A lot of people don't like this game because of the dark story and how there's too much maturity for the Sonic series. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and it's kind of weird, the plot. There's aliens that attack, and Shadow's trying to figure out his past, and like the story's kind of weird, but you have the ability to change your destiny in it. Like you can have multiple endings in the game. You can choose how the story goes depending on whether you choose good, bad, or neutral, and it's really nice touch. The gameplay is really nice. You get guns, and it's really cool, and there are vehicles, but they're kind of unnecessary. But so there's occasional cheap deaths in it, but overall, this is a really long game if you play through multiple endings, and really fun. Overall, I'd have to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Okay, Metroid Prime. This is like one of my first-person shooters I've ever tried. And I hadn't been much into Metroid before, but this game was really awesome. You have this gun, and you have a whole bunch of bosses in it. It doesn't really have like much of a content in the story, but you have really nice controls and really accurate, and just for a first-person shooter, this one set the bar really high. And overall, I have to give it a 9.5 out of 10. Okay, X-Men Legends. This is a fighting game that's kind of like the Avatar one over there, but X-Men Legends is kind of different. You have a lot of characters you can play as. You can play as a whole bunch of X-Men characters, and the plot's really nice. The voice acting's really good. And you can tell because it says the winner of gaming's highest honors. See? IGN and GamePro and all these other guys. And anyways, it's really fun. You get to level up. They use the same ideas in future games like Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, but none of them have done as well as X-Men Legends. X-Men Legends blows them out of the water. So I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. Okay, Super Mario Sunshine. This is an awesome game. Like, for Mario standards, this set the bar much higher than Super Mario 64. I think sometimes Super Mario 64 is overrated, and I would probably give Super Mario 64 an 8.5 out of 10. It did make a huge impact, but one of the major problems I've had with it was the camera. But Super Mario Sunshine doesn't have that problem. In fact, there's no problems with Super Mario Sunshine, and you get this flood thing. It's called Flood, and it's like a water sprayer, and it's really cool. There's like this island covered in goop and stuff, and you use it to clean up the island and do all kinds of stuff. It's like Mario platforming, but it's a really nice twist, and the graphics are really impressive for a GameCube game. Definitely something really fun to try out. I think anybody would enjoy it. So it gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Okay, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Battlenexus. This is a beat-em-up game. You play as the 4 Ninja Turtles, and each one of them has a different weapon. I've noticed that the combat in it is kind of slow, but it's based off of the show, and it's overall the look of it's really nice, and just the combat kind of feels a little like shaky. Like, it's really hard to move and attack at the same time. You either have to stop and attack, or you can't. So it kind of makes it feel a little bit broken. But overall, I'd have to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Okay, so Wolverine's Revenge, X-Men 2. So this is another X-Men game. And I'd have to say this one is not as good as the X-Men Legends. You only play as Wolverine, and it has a really nice story and voice acting. But the gameplay is pretty good, even though it's kind of difficult to figure out. The difficulty is really high in this, so it might not be for beginners pretty much. And it came with the free movie ticket of X-Men 2, I remember, see? And so anyways, it's a fun game, but overall not the best, so I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Okay, so Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy for GameCube. This is another game based off of a show. This one's from Cartoon Network. And it came with a free bonus DVD that had like behind the scenes of the show, and it had a bonus episode. But let's go on to the game. It's a fighting game. It really reminds me of Smash Brothers, but it has all Billy and Mandy characters, and all of the attacks are like unique. The graphics, they're kind of sucky. I mean, they look like the show definitely, but they're kind of not so good for a game. I think this was released in 2005. So for 2005 standards, that's not very good. But overall, the gameplay is really fun. So I gotta give it an 8.5 out of 10. Okay, Mario Kart Double Dash. This game set the bar for Mario Kart as well. And it introduced something really cool. The ability to have 2 riders on a kart at once. And that is really good. It like really made it more unique, and the racing has rarely been better. So it has a bonus disc that comes with it. It has demos of certain games. It has like a demo of Sonic Heroes on GameCube and some Star Wars game and a few others, and it has videos of other ones. But it's really fun. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10, definitely. Okay, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Would I go far as saying that this is the best GameCube game? I'd probably have to say that it's one of the best. It's insanely good. I bet that the graphics, even if Wind Waker was released on the PS3 like this year, people would still say the graphics are good. It's that good. I mean, come on, this art style graphics don't get much better. It's insanely nice looking. And the puzzles have rarely looked better in a Zelda. The story is like one of the best ever, and just intensely awesome. It gets a 10 out of 10 for me. SpongeBob SquarePants Lights Camera Pants. This is a party game. It's kind of like Mario Party, based off of the SpongeBob show, and the graphics kind of meh, but the party games can be pretty addicting, and each one's different. They aren't repetitive, and you have several characters you can choose from. And it also has a cheat mode where you can like choose a movie. You can like make your own movie, because the plot of the game involves them making a movie, and with the cheat you can actually make it even better. Overall, this is one of the better SpongeBob games, so I gotta give it an 8.5 out of 10. Okay, and last but not least, we have the review of The Incredibles GameCube game. This game has really nice graphics. It's based off the story of The Incredibles movie. And is it worth a buy? Well, it's a fighting game. You play as each of the Incredible characters, and each one has their own special ability in it. And overall, I'd say the combat's really good. The voice acting is there. It's really nice. Overall, my score, I have to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Okay, so those are reviews of each and every GameCube game I own. Hope you enjoyed the video, and give it a like, favorite, and subscribe, guys. See ya.